Hey guys, zTemplar here again. Got a little bit of an interesting one. We're going to be playing just the decks right off the box. So this is the Lee Sin deck versus Jinx deck. I'm going to be running Jinx. My fiance is going to be running Lee Sin since she's played that once or twice before. So kind of want to just run through the deck, just one quick best of one, and just kind of showcase the cards a little bit, showcase a little bit how to play, not in-depth on how to play, but kind of like things for beginners, especially if you go out and you buy the starter deck. So just want to make things a little bit interesting, make it fun right out the gate. I also haven't played Jinx yet right now, so this will be a fun thing for me to play as well. So we'll showcase things here, kind of go through the steps on how you play. So everything starts face down. The first thing you do is you reveal your legend. So that's going to be the, out of the top two cards, that's the inner one to the left. And then you'd reveal your chosen champion. And then you'd reveal your battlefield. So that's when you reveal your battlefield. And then that's when you would decide who would go first or who would go second. So either a dice roll or a coin flip or anything. So that's when everything would go. And then the other two piles, you have your deck on your right side, your discard or your trash would go below it, and then your runes are on your left side. This is typical for how the mat's laid out that comes right out of the box. Not showcasing it here. We'll showcase it in a future video. But so do you want? I'll let you choose. You want to go first or second?
Second.
Okay, so I'll go first. So then that's decided. So then each player will draw 4 cards, and then determine if you want to mulligan up to 2 cards. So you can decide if you don't want a card in your hand, you can put it to the bottom of your deck or essentially recycle it. So I'm going to choose to mulligan 1. So you put it to the bottom, draw another card. You gotta put one on the bottom that you don't want. So I'm going to be going first. So the steps for combat, the acronym is A, B, C, D. So you're going to awaken. So anything that is exhausted on the battlefield, which is put to the side, like horizontally, you're going to awaken that vertically. Then you would be the beginning phase. So that's when you score your points. So if you're holding a battlefield, you get one there. Then C is channel. So you're going to channel your runes. So because I'm going first, so I channel 2 runes. The player 2, in a 2-person mode, channels 3 runes to start, which just kind of helps them accelerate a little bit for going second. And then the D is draw, so you'll draw 1 card from your deck, and then you'll start any action. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play Chemtech Enforcer, which is a 2 rune, 2 might unit. So the one in the top left is the rune cost, and the one in the top right is the might cost. So might is both attack and health. And then they also have abilities, or can have abilities at the bottom. So the Chemtech Enforcer has Assault, which is +2 when I'm an attacker. And then when you play me, discard 1. So I'm going to discard 1. I'm going to discard Scrap Heap, which says when this is played, discarded, or killed, draw 1. So I'm discarding that, but then I'm able to draw 1. And with that, I will pass my turn. Player 2 will channel, since there's no A or B, will channel 3 runes, and then they'll be able to draw a card. And then they can do actions. So if you want me to help you?
Yeah.
Okay. So here, so what you could do is you could play.
Maybe this one.
Yeah, I would play Wielder of Water. So that's 3 might, or 3 runes, 3 cost, 2 might. So it plays exhausted. That's great, and then you'll just exhaust your runes. So you'll just turn them to the side, all 3 of them. and then you'll pass because there's nothing else you can do.
Pass.
Okay, so again for me, so I'm gonna awaken everything. I don't control anything, so no points. I'm gonna channel 2 runes, and then I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna play another Chemtech Enforcer for 2, and then I'm also going to move my Chemtech Enforcer to the Zone Warrens, which says when you conquer here, discard 1, then draw 1. And I know I saw your hand, so at this point, if the opponent or what would be classified as the defender has any spells or anything that they want to use and they have runes up, they could use it at this point because I have nothing else to play. Since it's the first turn, there's usually not anything else to play. I forgot I have to discard something, so I'm going to discard Faded Memories from the Chemtech Enforcer. So I played that. At this point, I would get 1 point. And then I have, I think if I have anything else to do, I also have to discard another one from Zone Warren, so I'm going to discard Gust, and then I'm also going to play a hidden card. So a hidden card, usually you just exhaust and recycle 1 rune in order to play it, so I'm going to recycle that rune, and then I pass my turn. So at this point, again, awaken A, beginning no points, so you go to channeling 2 runes, so you channel 2 runes over, and then you would draw a card.
I have a spell.
Okay, so what I would do is I would move this unit up to there.
And then my spell.
Well, you don't have to play your spell yet. I can see your hand. So what I would recommend doing is I would play Pit Rookie, which says when you play me, buff another friendly unit. If it doesn't have a buff, get +1 buff. So what I would do is I would play the Pit Rookie directly to the battlefield since you already conquered it. And then that means you can buff the Wielder of Water. And when you buff a unit, it gets +1 might. So we're going to buff this unit. So he's going to be now 3 might. And then, so you would exhaust 2 runes. And then I would also play, now I've seen your hand, but if I didn't, I would also play the Pocket Cub. So a little bit of the hidden mechanic. So I would play the Pocket Cub hidden there. So you're going to take 1 of your orange runes and you're going to put it to the bottom of your rune deck. So you only have to recycle a rune. You don't have to pay any runes to exhaust them. And then, let's see, is there anything else you can do? And then, one thing that you could do, you could play Charm, which says, a spell, so Charm is move an enemy unit, so it costs 1 rune and 1 green recycle, so you take 1 rune and put it to the bottom of your deck. And then what you would do is you would move my Chemtech Enforcer to the battlefield or to the base. Is there anyone that you want to do, or any specific area you want to put it?
The base.
Okay, so you're going to put it to the base, but what I'm going to do, that doesn't matter. So then I have a hidden spell, so because she moved my unit, and I lose the battlefield, my hidden card goes away unless it has a certain effect that prevents that. The hidden card that I had wouldn't have mattered anyway, so I'm going to discard that. And then this goes to your discarded because it's an exhausted spell. And then and then what you can do now is you can use Lee Sin. So your legend has a run-in ability. So Lee Sin is buff an enemy unit or buff a friendly unit. So basically it gets one of the buffs that the Pit Rookie added. So what you would do here is it costs 1 rune, so you would exhaust your champion since you used it. It's only once per turn. You would exhaust 1 rune. Exhaust, so you turn it to the side. One of the green ones. and then you would give a unit +1. So in this case, Pit Rookie. So units can only have one buff at a time. There is some units like Green Lee Sin that is able to get multiple buffs. However, we're just using again the decks right out of the gate, so you get the orange Lee Sin. So at that point, you have one rune, but you don't have any other cards, so you pass.
Pass.
And you also got one for conquering, so we're now at a score of 1-1. A little dice out there, 1-1. Okay, so I would awaken everything. I'm at the beginning phase. I don't have that anymore because you moved my unit. But for Jinx's ability at the start of your beginning phase, draw 1 if you have 1 or fewer cards in your hand. I have 1, so I get to draw 1. I would then channel 2 runes. And then I would also be able to draw another 1. So, okay. I am going to move one of the Chemtech Enforcers up into his own waters. And in your hand, so at this point again, the opponent could play a card if they wanted to stop that, but there's nothing right now to stop that, so I would get 1 point, so I'd go up to 2 for conquering. And then when I conquer here, discard 1 to draw 1, so I'm going to discard Scrap Heap again, so I'm going to be able to draw 1 card from Scrap Heap and 1 card from the Scrap Heap, from discarding it. I'm going to play a spell, so I'm going to play Void Seeker, which is a 3 energy, recycle 1 red rune, 1 fury rune. This says deal 4 damage to a unit at a battlefield, draw 1. I'm going to target the Wielder of Water because he has a solo ability where if he's the only unit at the battlefield, he gets +2 might. I know again your hand, so this would be if the opponent has a reaction spell or an action spell, they'd be able to play it. Unfortunately, you don't in your hand, so that unit would get discarded. And then obviously the buff, so that was 2 might or 3 might with the buff. And then for Void Seeker, I also get to draw 1 card. So Jinx is very heavy with discarding cards. And then I think the other thing that I'm going to do is try and stop your holding. So I'm going to move in with Chemtech Enforcer, which has an assault. So he's +2 might when he's an attacker. So at this point, I'm at 4 might, so the defender's at 3 might. Now, if I didn't know the hidden card, which was Pocket Cub, I would go in and win since if there's no spells to be done. But because you have a hidden unit, you would reveal your Pocket Cub. So now in total you have 6 might to my 4 might. So you would kill me, but I'm able to take out one of the units as well with it. So as is you are able to determine where the damage is dealt. However, the damage has to be dealt in full. So because I'm 4 might, I'm deciding to take out the I'm going to decide to take out the Pocket Cub because it isn't buffed, but if it was buffed, it would have 1 more might. So technically the Pocket Cub takes 3 damage, and then the last damage going to the Pit Rookie, but it wouldn't be enough to kill it. So with that, the Pocket Cub goes to the discarded pile, my Chemtech Enforcer also goes to the discarded pile, and the Pit Rookie would take 1 damage. However, I don't have anything else to do in the showdown, so the damage is healed. The Pit Rookie goes back up to his full health of 3 might with the buff. So you held on to that battlefield. And with that, I got nothing else to play. So I'm going to pass my turn. So that's when everything would awaken. So the runes and legend, correct? And then also units at the battlefield awaken. The beginning phase, you get 1 for holding, so you go up to 2 points. And then you'd also do the effect of the battlefield. So when you hold here, draw 1, so you would draw 1 card. And then you would also channel 2 runes now. So you're up to 5 runes. And now you also get to draw again. So you draw 1 more card. Yep. So now you have 5 runes available to play. Do you have anything else in your hand? Okay. I would do the Wizened Elder here, just because he has an ability. So the Wizened Elder is going to come in. It's a 4 might, 4 energy unit. And his ability says, while I'm buffed, I have an additional +1 might. So you exhaust 4. You're also going to give it a buff to get it up to 5 might. So Wizened Elder is 5 might. And then you're going to exhaust that last turn. Exhausted. So putting it to the bottom is recycling it, turning it to the side is exhausting it. And then at this point, because he's exhausted, he's not able to move. So if you want, you can bring your unit back to your base, or you can leave it there to try and hold for another turn.
I'm gonna leave it there.
Okay. And then since that's everything, all the runes, you would pass.
Pass.
So I'm going to awaken everything. I'm going to get 1 for holding. I'm going to channel 2 runes. And then I'm going to draw. Unfortunately, I don't get loose cannon this turn. I'm going to play a little doggy. I'm going to play Cemetery Attendant for 3 and recycle 1 rune. And he says, when you play me, return a unit from your trash to your hand. So I'm going to take the previously defeated Chemtech Enforcer. And I'm also going to play him now directly to, I'm going to play him, to my base. So that's going to be 2 more runes to exhaust. And then that's all I'm going to do right now. So I have 1 left, so I'm going to pass my turn. So you're going to awaken everything. And then you're going to score points, so you go up to 3. And then you're going to channel 2 more runes. And then you're going to draw a card. And now you can start your action. So here, so you have what, 6 runes available to you?
7.
So this is where we could do what you had with the pit rookie. We'll do it a little differently. So we'll do I saw you had the Paka Cub, and what else? Okay. So what I would say is we're gonna hide, so you're gonna take 1 rune, we're gonna hide the Paka Cub here, just to have it hidden. So you're gonna take 1 rune and you're gonna put it to actually, different order. You're gonna take 1 rune and you hide it. And we're gonna float it. So there's a thing called floating where you still get the energy cost. So you still have 1 usable energy. And then what I would do for here is play the Lee Sin. So you have 6 runes. So you can play the Lee Sin from your base, from the champion. So the legend champion that you have, the champion unit that you have in the top right, you can play it at any point as long as you have the energy and the runes to recycle for it. So since you have 6 up available, you can play it from there. You don't have to recycle 1 right now, so you would then exhaust all the runes. And then we're going to use that 1 floating rune, or that floating rune, to be able to use Lee Sin's power. So you're going to be able to exhaust the Lee Sin legend unit. And we're going to be able to put a buff onto the Lee Sin. And then what I would do is I would move, because your Wizened Elder's buffed and he is ready, I would use him and I would move it into the Zon Warrens to attack my unit there. And then when you attack, just to note, everything goes in exhausted. They travel a long distance from your base to the battlefield. So at this point, I would have an opportunity to play a spell. If I had runes up, unfortunately I only have one rune up and I don't have a spell in order to play. So you would take that point from me, so my Chemtech Enforcer would die. And then because you conquered, you would go up to 4 points. And then since you did conquer, you do have to draw one, discard one, and then draw one card. I did forget when you held, you did hold, but we forgot, yeah, you drew 2 cards, right? Never mind. So you have to discard one card from your hand to the discard.
I'm gonna discard Charm.
Okay. And then, so you're all exhausted. You have many units out on the battlefield, so at this point you would pass because there's no other actions that you can take. So I'm going to awaken everything. I don't get any points because I got destroyed at the Zone Warrens. I'm going to channel 2 runes and I'm going to draw. I'm just going to play some Warm Bodies. So I'm going to play Raging Soul, which says if you've discarded a card this turn, I have Assault and Ganking, so +1 when he's an attacker. That's for 4. And then I'm also going to play the Traveling Merchant, which says when I move, discard 1, then draw 1 for 2, just to get more units out there. And then I'm going to take the Cemetery Attendant and the Chemtech Enforcer, and I'm going to start a showdown in the Zone Warrens, because I want to keep cycling through my deck. As Jinx, you want to get as many cards into your discard as possible in order to buff up some other units. So at this point, I have 3 might from the Cemetery Attendant and 4 might from the Chemtech Enforcer, so I'm 7 total. And you have 5 might in total from the Wizened Elder. So unfortunately, you don't have any runes up, so the damage would go, but you get to decide which unit you want to kill off first. You can't kill both units, you can kill one or the other. In this case, do you have a specific one, or do you want me to help you out?
What are the 2?
So the 2 is the Cemetery Attendant, he was at 3 might, and then the Chemtech Enforcer, who's usually at 2 might, but he's at 4 might right now because I'm attacking. You chose right. So the right play there, in my opinion, would be the Cemetery Attendant. Because it has more might, and I only get Assault. I only go up to 4 might when I'm an attacker. So now my unit would stay there, but your unit is defeated. But now after the showdown, I go back down to 2 might. So it's easier to take in the future where the Cemetery Attendant has that 1 more might. So I would score a point there for conquering, and then I would have to discard 1 and then draw 1. I'm drawing a blank. I'm going to discard another Cemetery Attendant to draw that 1, and then that's where I would pass, and then you would go. So again, going through the motions, you would awaken everything, and then you would get 1 point for holding, so you're up to 5 points. One thing to note, you do want to go up to 8 points to win. So when you get 8 points, you win the game. However, the one way to do that is you either have to hold a battlefield or conquer both battlefields in your turn / score from both battlefields. So if you were at 6 points and you held 1, you went up to 7, and then all you have to do is conquer the other battlefield, and then you win. So then you channel your 2 points, or channel your 2 runes, and then you would draw.
First mate.
All right, so you're at what, 7?
I have 8.
8?
Yeah.
What is this one saying? Okay. So one thing to do is you could attack and then conquer here. However, the runes are a little weird. If you had 9, I would say that would be the perfect thing to do. You also draw 1 from holding here, so you get to draw an extra card.
Wild Claw Shaman.
Say so. Wildclaw Shaman or Shaman says, when you play me, you may spend a buff to buff me and ready me. There. So I would play that card for 3 or 4. That'd be 4. Yep. And then what you can do with that is, so using his ability, when you play me, you may spend a buff to buff me and then ready me. So what you would do is, you want to keep Lee Sin buffed. What you would do is you spend the buff from your pit rookie. You can buff your Wildclaw Shaman, and now he becomes ready. So he's basically ready the same turn that you played him. And then now with this, I would recommend going in and attacking me at the Zolan Warrens, because you're at 3 might. And then that would start a showdown. Unfortunately, I don't have enough spells to do anything, so I would lose my Chemtech Enforcer, and you would go up to 6 points. And then you would also have to discard one, so I would discard one of the first mates. Yes. And then you have still 4 runes left, so I would play one of your first mates. Actually, I would keep that. I would just, because then you can use it next turn because you'll have more runes. I would spend your legend to buff the unit, and then you would buff back your pit rookie. So basically, that buff that you spent to ready the Wildclaw Shaman is now paying off. And then so you have all your buffed units out there, and then you would exhaust 1 rune for that buffing. Just turn it. And then I would pass.
Pass.
Okay. So I'm going to awaken all the runes, which is a fantastic world song. If you haven't listened to it, I don't get any points because I lost my battlefield. I'm going to channel 2 runes, and I'm going to draw. I'm going to bring in my Jinx champion unit for 3 and discarding 1. But I'm going to pay an additional rune and recycle another Fury rune in order to accelerate. So essentially, accelerating means you can pay another rune and recycle it in order to accelerate it, so he doesn't come exhausted. So same thing of what you kind of did with your Wildclaw Shaman, except I need to pay an additional cost. And then I also get Assault 2, so +2 might, but when you play me, I have to discard 2. So I have to discard 2 cards right now. I'm going to discard these 2 cards. I'll discard these 2 cards. And then, so now my Jinx is at 6 might. I'm going to go up and start a showdown at the Zolan Warrens. Any response? I'm also need to go in and move to kill the units, because if I didn't go in and conquer these battlefields, I would lose next turn from holding, because she's at 6 points. I don't believe you have any spells. That's something you can do. So the Wildclaw Shaman, too much Pokemon. Shaman would die, and then I would conquer that. And then when I conquer, I have to discard 1 and then draw 1. Discard that unit and draw. Okay, and then I'm also going to play Void Seeker, which is, again, deal 4 to a unit at a battlefield, but it's 3 runes exhausted, and then recycle 1 Fury. So I'm going to deal 4 damage to your Pit Rookie. I know you don't have anything else, so the Pit Rookie would die. But you still have the Pocket Cub there, so the Pocket Cub you would unhide in order to keep control of that battlefield. So then my spell would be exhausted, or discarded, and then I have 1 card left, but I have to move in. I want to move in to hold that point. I'm going to move the Raging Soul up there, because he's a 4 might unit. So then I would take control. I forgot to go up. So I would move up into the Grove of the Godwillow to start a showdown with your Pocket Cub. Since I have one more might than your Pocket Cub would be destroyed. And then I would go up to 6 points, so tying the game here. But that is all I'm able to do at this point. And then I would pass to you. So you're right, you would awaken everything. You would channel 2 runes. And then you would draw. Now you have, what, 11 runes up, or 10 runes up? Yeah, 10.
Yeah, 10.
So at this point, it's not looking good for me because you still have that Lee Sin that's buffed and ready to go. And knowing your hand, you have an accelerate, so I don't know what you drew, but what I would do is play that 6 might unit in from your hand. That one. So he's playing the Bilgewater Bully, which says when I'm buffed, I have ganking. So that's for 6. And then I would also play the. Now this is where you play the first mate for 3. So it's first mate says when you play me, you ready
another unit.
Yep, ready another unit. So then you would ready your Bilgewater Bully. And so now you have 2 units ready to go. So you exhaust your 3 runes, and now you're ready to go. And now you'll be able to attack me in both areas. And unfortunately, what I should have done on my turn is move this unit, but it doesn't matter which one you attack first. So you move like one of your units, Lee Sin here, for example, start a showdown at the Grove of the Godwillow, and my Raging Soul. Unfortunately, I don't have any spells available to me, so my Raging Soul would die. You would get that one and go up to 7 points, and then you want to do the last one?
Using this one?
Yep.
And it goes over here.
Yes.
And it turns over.
Yep, and then so that would start a showdown, and again, I don't have anything to do. What I should have done is moved my Traveling Merchant up into one of these battlefields in order to try and survive, but then we could have flipped around which one Lee Sin did because he was 7. So you still would have beaten me. Your might is greater, so you would kill my Jinx Demolitionist, and you would then go up to 8 points and win. So that was a very, very good match. The first mate definitely was good there, and having Lee Sin on the bench for a little bit, and then waiting for the right moment, and then good use of hiding the Pocket Cubs and all that. So with that, if you were playing in a tournament or a Nexus line or anything, and you were doing best of 3s, that's when you would go. Each player would select the next battlefield. The person who lost would be able to select if they want to go first or second, and then you'd start the second one. So you'd select your battlefields, decide the turn order again, and then you'd go off and play the best of 3. For this example, we're just going to do a best of 1, and then you would GG, mostly a fist bump, and then you would move on to the next match. So hopefully this helped showcasing the Lee Sin and Jinx deck. Right out the box, in my opinion, the Jinx deck is the weakest of the 3, Victor being the last one. However, it's still fun. It's a good starting point to get going. I wish it was the best because obviously Jinx from Arcane is very popular. But hopefully there's some more cards coming out in Spirit Forge that helps her going, especially with the gear and stuff. But if you did enjoy this video and at least learned a little something, a little bit how to play, again, I'll do a little bit more in-depth video on how everything works, just kind of showcasing one side of the board and showcasing a little bit more of the actions in that. But yeah, if you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you can, and it helps me out a lot, and appreciate you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.